What is one to do when you have SUV tastes but city car money? Well, you head on down to your Kia dealership and you pick up one of these, the Kia Picanto X-Line. Now the X-Line replaces the current smart derivative in Kia's local lineup and is basically just a normal Picanto that's been beefed up. So in that beefing up, what they've done is they've put some cladding down the side of the car and around the wheel arches. You're still getting those 15-inch wheels. They've changed the front and rear bumpers. You still get LED lighting front and rear. And well, that's pretty much it. Until you get to the inside. Now the interior of this X-Line is quite plush. There's a lot of very good high quality plastics. You can get these plush leatherette seats, leather on the steering wheel, leather around the gear selector, and well, it really is quite nice to the touch and feel. You are also going to get things like air conditioning, electric windows, electric mirrors. There's 12 volt out, USB in for the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on this 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system. All in all, quite a nice place to be. It is also incredibly roomy in here. Plenty of leg room for the front passengers, lots of shoulder room. It's a bit of a squeeze at the back for the passengers in the rear. But there is a 255-litre boot, so you will be able to get quite a lot of kit into there. I wonder how Sean's making out.
Now the Freestyle is more of a crossover-looking version of the standard Figo. You get silver roof rails, a slightly raised ride height. You now have 190 millimeters of ground clearance, different alloy wheels, some funky exterior color options, and stickers down the side sills of the vehicle that all add up to a slightly more chunky looking and taller Figo. This is the top spec titanium model, so you get a touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It works wonderfully. You get a push button start with keyless entry, which is very impressive for this segment. Little multi-function steering wheel with a voice activation button, which means hands-free smartphone connectivity at all times. You get 2 USB ports, which obviously connects you to your smartphone or provide you with a charging port, and a handy little smartphone storage area just below the air conditioning unit over here.
The Kia Picanto X-Line is powered by a 1.2-litre petrol engine mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox. It is only available in a 1.2, but you do get the option for an auto. Now that engine puts out 61 kilowatts, 122 newton meters of torque, and that is more than enough to get this little car up to speed in the city. As far as the drive is concerned, the suspension is a little bit hard when you're on rougher surfaces, which makes me wonder how it's going to handle a gravel road. But on the whole, when you're on perfectly smooth tar, it's an absolute pleasure to drive.
Now, powering the Figo is really its party piece within the model range, I think. It's a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, and it's quite powerful for this segment. 91 kilowatts and 150 newton meters of torque. It's exclusively available with a 5-speed manual gearbox. And for me, that is very impressive for this segment. This car goes up against things like the Honda WRV, which has got a 1200cc engine, the Renault Sandero Stepway, which has got a 900cc turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. Now, having said that, the product that we're comparing it to today is a Kia Picanto X-Line, which has also got a 1200cc engine. So Figo's got a bit of an advantage there. It's also a bigger car in terms of the dimensions. It's not only wider, taller, longer, and has a slightly longer wheelbase, but it just looks like a more substantial car, which brings me to my next point. Driving this Figo at any speed below 100 kilometers an hour is fantastic. I find it to be, the powertrain is fantastic. There's lovely low down torque from the 3-cylinder engine. The gearbox is fantastic. I just find that over 100 kilometers an hour, particularly on the freeway on a slightly windy day, it doesn't feel quite as planted and stable as I thought it might.
So now we get to the stuff that you really care about, the pricing. Kia Picanto X-Line 1.2 is going to cost you 237,995 Rand. With that, you get a 5-year unlimited kilometer warranty and a 2-year 30,000 kilometer paid for service plan. Great value for money.
I'm not trying to suggest that this Figo Freestyle is by any means cheap. At over 263,000 Rand, it's not exactly expensive, but for a budget car, it's certainly knocking on the door of slightly more expensive products. That being said, I would like to have a go in that little Picanto X-Line. I have had quite a bit of experience with the Picanto in general, but I would like to see what they've done with that X-Line.
So, two competitors, Picanto and Figo.
Yeah, obviously compete with each other, but they're slightly different, but kind of the same, if that makes any sense.
I've been driving the Picanto for a while. I'd like to sample the Figo Freestyle because I haven't driven this yet.
Yeah, well, that's brand new, so I'd love to have a go in that.
Alrighto, keys are in the ignition.
So are those, go for it. So first impressions of the Kia Picanto X-Line. Now, I've just spent 6 days in that Ford Figo Freestyle, and I have to say, hopping into the Picanto, I have been pleasantly surprised. You see, I saw that there was quite a bit of a price discrepancy of around 30,000 Rand or so. There was also a bit of a size discrepancy between the two cars, with the Figo being the more expensive, but indeed the bigger car. But I feel like when you get inside the Picanto, you aren't really feeling shortchanged in terms of space and in terms of features. The only area where I can see the Figo outdoing the Picanto in terms of features is in the standard airbag count and in the fact that it's got a keyless start or push button. Now, the Figo comes with 6 airbags, this has got 2, but both are safe vehicles in the event, or the unlikely event, should I say, of a collision.
Look, it's not bad. There's definitely more space in here. I'm not sold. It seems to be a little bit more hard to the touch and a little bit more scratchy. On the whole, the engine's nice, suspension's quite nice, and it's not a bad drive.
So, what do you think?
Dude, not bad. But you know what? I kind of prefer the Picanto.
I get what you're saying. You know, this was the first time I had a go in this X-Line Picanto, and I can sort of understand where both brands are coming from with the product. We're shopping in the budget segment right now, as I'm sure you'd agree. Price sensitivity is the most important factor when someone's purchasing in this segment.
And this is more expensive than that.
And this is quite a bit more expensive than that, and it's only got slightly more specification. Slightly safer, slightly bigger. This is the smaller car, but as always with all of these shootouts, we have to advise you as a consumer to go out and drive both products and decide which one suits your lifestyle best. This car, despite being compact, is possibly big enough for most single people. If you need a bit more space and can afford the extra capital outlay, then perhaps look at the Figo. But our advice as always is to drive both and see which one fits into your lifestyle best.
Couldn't agree more. But you know what? I still prefer the Picanto. Back in your Figo.
Alrighty.